Hello Internet, Demajen here. Welcome back to Final Fantasy XIV ENDWALKER, where today I am going to do the healer role quests. So let's get started. Looks like we're going to go and deal with Raban and the Alamegans for this one. I'm Fordola. If you're ready to lend us your aid, I'll apprise you of the situation. We've received reports of a creature believed to be a blasphemy stalking the streets of Alamigo. Troops have been assigned to track and slay the beast, but are likely to be casualties. With most of our healers posted elsewhere, we'd thought to petition you for aid. I would be glad to help. I'm not going to rip it into them. Once again, win your debts. We shall inform Commander Aldin forthwith. My comrades in the Immortal Flames will be glad to have you watching over them. You see, as there have been no sightings of any blasphemies in our lands, we've joined our Alamegan allies in the hunt for the fiend. Trouble is, the majority of our own healers are working day and night to treat the tempered Imperials captured at Pagalthan. They're still working on that. For that reason, we too will be glad of your help. Aye, your presence alone would be of great comfort to the troops, I'm sure. As time is of the essence, I ask that you make your way to the Alamegan quarter and report for duty. Commander Aldin is overseeing the hunt, and he will explain all upon your arrival. May Relga grant you strength. Okay then. Let us go to Alamigo. Let us Alamigo. No. I'm sure that's a completely original joke that nobody has made before. Also, how amazing is the level 85 gear? I love this outfit. This is the full set. Well, I say full set. Can I show you the headpiece? No, I cannot. Because of course I can't. It would be the full set of the gear from Vanaspati if I could show helms on a Vieira, which I can't. Blasphemy Hunter. But yeah, I really like this. I'm not super sold on the pants, but I like how kind of the hip bits and low slung thing works. It's just really nicely put together, and the book is isn't bad at all. Certainly seems like it's got slightly more resolution on the pages, which you don't always get on Scholar Gear, let's be honest. Ah, Mistress Blackthorn, we were told you were on your way, but this is even quicker than expected. Like your hair. I'll tell Commander Aldin you've arrived. One moment, please. So, I haven't looked at the Mikoto hairstylist in a while. Is this one that I can get on? Yeah. Glad you could join us. Hi, Raban. He's got such a little wave. I'm surprised they haven't given him an elegant arm or something yet. Now that the far greater crisis has been resolved, we may, and must, turn our undivided attention to matters of a smaller, but no less deadly scale. Aye, I'd like nothing more than to hear about your recent adventures, but I'm afraid such pleasantries will have to wait. Oh, hello! You're weird looking. As our man in Thavnir will have told you, a blasphemy is loose in Alamigo. When it first appeared, the city guard were able to get most of the bystanders to safety, and, for a mercy, those caught in the chaos only suffered minor injuries. But the fiend managed to escape, and has not been seen since. We must find it, and soon. For as long as it remains at large, every man, woman and child is at risk. You'd think I'd be able to do the northern accent more consistently. As was the case in Thavnir, the blasphemy's very existence seems to spur the creation of lesser beasts. The longer it is allowed to roam free, the more tragedy our people will suffer. Did anyone see the change take place? I feel like it would be a bit disrespectful to ask him, are you sure? Aye, there were several eyewitnesses who gave the same account. A man walking through the Alamegan quarter fell to his knees all of a sudden, and a moment later transformed into the monstrosity we now pursue. Didn't we see a guy walking through the Alamegan quarter in one of the cutscenes in the MSQ? I wonder if that was the same guy. But beyond the fact he was a young Highlander, we know next to nothing about him. Even the descriptions of his appearance are too vague to help identify the lad, and we've no clues as to his name or background. For all we know, he might not have even been born in Alamigo. Might have been the son of refugees come to visit. There are other possibilities we're investigating, though. But it doesn't really matter, does it? That said, I doubt his circumstances are unique. Blasphemies and beasts are born when men are overcome by despair, and whatever drove him to turn likely could have done the same to another. Therefore, if we're to prevent further tragedies, it's imperative that we identify and address the underlying cause. Until we do, we'll have no choice but to deal with the afflicted the only way we know how, by granting them a quick death. Just as a follow-up to my Reaper, the physical DPS job quest, I still don't understand, and maybe there's just something obvious that I'm missing, but why are people still getting transformed into blasphemies? I know it's, and I probably said this in the previous video, I haven't edited the previous one yet. I know it's probably a bit of a fudge for people that are doing these after they've completed the MSQ. But it just doesn't make any logical sense to me. The Song of Oblivion has been silenced. Dynamis should no longer be overwhelming people, unless that is going to be a threat going forwards. For now, did I read that last bit out? I can't remember. For now, I'd have you join the hunt and keep my men from falling prey to these creatures. Are you up to it? Nod. You have my thanks. As chance would have it, we've just received word that a number of beasts were spotted on the outskirts of Alagana. The troops stationed there have already put them down, but were wounded in the process. First and foremost, they need medical attention, and that's where you come in. I'll meet you there. It's my own damn fault for being so careless. What must Commander Alden think of me? Know what they were, who they were. Could any of us end up like that? Don't know what that voice was. Although the soldiers were able to lead the beasts away from the village and kill a lot of them, victory did not come easy. It's times like these our lack of healers is most sorely felt. I dare say they've yet to receive any treatment at all. See to their wounds while I survey the areas for any stragglers that may have escaped. Once I've completed my patrol, I'll head to the village to gather eyewitness reports. Look for me thereafter. Ooh, he's got his helmet on. Helmets. Tend to the soldiers. Healing. I assume they've had to program it like this. Because this could be done on any job, any healer job. Hold on, you're Demajen, aren't you? I can't believe it. You're the one who inspired me to join the resistance in the first place, and now you've come to save me in my hour of need. I'll never forget this. Thank you, thank you. Oh. We've been recognised. I always get so excited. But as people have explained in the comments, you know, our reputation precedes us, but it's not like people take photographs and stuff. I do like the casting animation for Scholar. I saw them change right before my eyes. Those weren't monsters I killed, but innocent men. But it had to be done. There were others we had to protect, and thanks to you, I can continue to do just that. Once I've made my way back, I'll give a full account. The families, they'll understand. And this is the hardest thing, isn't it? Oh, Arenvold. It was good of you to come all this way, though I never doubted for a moment that you wouldn't. After all you've done for the people of Gurabania, we couldn't ask for more. And yet here you are. For treating the wounds of these soldiers, you have my thanks, and theirs too, no doubt. It seems they were indeed successful in slaying all the beasts, if my search is any indication, but we must remain vigilant. I've also spoken with several people who witnessed the moment of the transformation, and the ordeals understandably left them rather shaken. I hear you've been through a fair few ordeals yourself, Demajen. Nod. As for me, I've been kept busy with this and that, like get the hang of this wheelchair. Obviously, it has its limitations, but it gets me where I need to go. I've been working with this new organisation as well, which is what brought me here. But no sooner had I arrived than those locals turned. What? With all the technology that we've scavenged from the Alligans, could they not have got him a fancier one? Ragenfrid? Oh, Ragenfrid. Heard you were there when it happened. What can you tell us? And soon underwent the change of the very people we try and help. Oh, there's the audio thing again. Perhaps I should explain from the beginning. A meeting Lise held in the Royal Palace marked a turning point for all of Girabania. It spurred us to open a dialogue with peoples and communities we otherwise would have shunned, moving the plot forwards. Well, the world state, I suppose. But there's still so many problems to be addressed, and countless souls struggling to build new lives for themselves. I decided to form a volunteer group, the Silver Griffins. Our main concern is the welfare of Alamegans who sided with the Empire for whatever reason, and help them find their place in society, in particular the surviving families of the Crania Lupi. But I thought you despised the skulls. Times change. Make no mistake, I've not forgiven them. I don't have that in me, and I doubt I ever will. But the memory of that day in the palace, with Fordola asking to be locked up again after saving us all, it stayed with me. Yeah, that was when Lakshmi was summoned into the middle of the palace and everybody was getting tempered. Got me to thinking about why she and the other youths would commit such atrocities. Why they'd swear to serve the Empire. And the answer was simple. Because they'd seen what we'd seen and suffered much the same. In a hell where all were condemned, they chose to betray one brother to save another. That's how the Garleans win. Not by breaking you, but by making you break yourself. By making the choice the right one for a man at... By making that choice the right one for a man at the end of his tether. Healing only begins with liberation. And some scars never will regardless. Those who return from foreign lands may have difficulty carving out a living here, but the ones who pledged allegiance to Garlemald. This is not the Alamigo we dreamed of, but after 25 years of misery, I'll not see it all thrown away because we can't come to terms with the past. That's why I formed the Silver Griffins, to see that no one's cast aside. It's a cause I support. That's what brought me here today. I've been acting as a mediator, using his knowledge as a scion. Aye, and in the short time he's been with us, he's proven himself a natural. But despite our early successes, the families of the Skulls continue to refuse our help. I think I see where this is leading. They're the ones who turned, yes. That comes as no surprise. Their kin tormented and murdered fellow Alamegans. Anyone with a conscience would feel shame and guilt, and for some it might be too much to bear. I think I might know why they're turning us away. It's a sensitive matter though, so let's go somewhere we won't be overheard. There's nobody around. Oh, he's going to wheel him. It's about the men who turned. Oh, it's about one of the men who turned. I saw his memories. With the echo. I'll not pretend I understand it, but tell us what you learned. I only caught a glimpse, but that was enough. It was during the occupation. A man raising his son. Only the two of them, but they were a family. To keep his boy clothed and fed, he chose to side with the Empire. He knew what others would say, but he did it anyway. And so he's branded a traitor. Every day his son listened to the jeering, the insults. There was nothing he could do. When he came of age, he joined the Skulls in the hope it would make life easier for his father. He never dared to question his orders, no matter how depraved. He died in the revolution, but not before killing his own countrymen. His father wept, not for the betrayer and murderer, but for the man he could have been. He blamed it all on himself. right up until the change took him. I can only pray he and his boy have finally found the peace they were denied in life. Alas, theirs is an all too familiar tale. They cannot forgive themselves, nor can they see how anyone else could. The sins of their kin weigh heavy on them. They think themselves undeserving of our compassion. If they carry on like that, they'll turn into beasts. We've got to help them before it's too late. Growing up half Guardian in Alamigo, I know how it feels to be shunned and hated, to hate myself. But so long as we give ourselves and others a chance, we can change for the better. And while I might not be as clever or eloquent as someone like Alphano, clever and eloquent? What are you on about? I know I can make a difference. I'm going to continue memeing about Alphano, despite the fact that I do quite like him as a character since ENDWALKER. I might not be quite the swordsman I used to be, but I'm still a fighter at heart. And I owe it to Arba and Uli to make the most of this life so long as I've got it. Nod. Rousing music. We Silver Griffins will give our all to see that no more beasts or blasphemies ravage Girabani again. So, Commander Aldin, do we have your approval to continue our work? Of course. There's no enemy more formidable than despair. I'd be a fool to refuse your help. Even a single one of our people has succumbed to this transformation is proof of our failure to protect them. Therefore, pledge the Silver Griffins my unconditional support. Together, we will prevail. I love Raban's character design. He's got such a distinctive face. Now that we have Demajen on hand to aid the troops, I believe we're ready to face any beast we encounter. Though, I fear it's only a matter of time before others appear. No, I completely misread that. Well, no, I didn't, but I put the wrong emphasis on. Though I fear it's only a matter of time before others appear, I ask that you lend the Silver Griffins your assistance in the meantime. Nod. Very good. For now, let's return to the city. Final Fantasy XIV, you look so decent from a distance, and then up close you look a little bit shit. Wanting to buy 4K textures for everything, please. I appreciate that it is a lot of work, but really, it's getting to the stage where it needs to be done. I mean, I've already said how much I like this outfit, but I don't know whether I can get close enough for it to really show it. But you can see it in the cutscenes, the actual kind of blockiness. I mean, from this distance, it looks great. But get too close. Well, get too close and it switches to first person. Yeah, get too close and it really does look meh. It's a compromise, I appreciate, for memory and stuff. Those who harbour guilt do so not because they are weak of heart, but because they failed to meet the demands they make of themselves. It was the same for me when I believed that my failures had led to the Sultan's assassination. The despair and self-loathing were indescribable. I was fortunate that you and the other Signs came to my rescue, that I had friends who convinced me I was more than the sum of my worst mistakes. Now we must do the same for the people of Alamigo. We must help them to heal and find the strength to, if not forgive, then come to terms with who they were, so that they can look to who we can be, who we should aspire to be. This is precisely why the work of the Silver Griffins is so vital. Though our problems are not new, the emergence of this deadly phenomenon means we cannot afford to delay addressing them any longer, and we'll be better for it, ultimately. Once we've decided a course of action, you'll be the first to know. Until then, may Ralga watch over and keep you. Chunk of XP. Quest 2. The Butcher's Blade. The struggle to prevent the emergence of beasts grows increasingly desperate. We were hoping you'd stop by. I'll show you to Commander Aldin at once. Thanks. Yeah, you're a welcome sight as always, Dema. Aye, and a lot's happened since we last spoke. We Silver Griffins have been keeping busy. As have I and my men, but I'm afraid we've little to show for our efforts. Although we've been searching high and low for the blasphemy, we've seen neither hide nor hair of it. Unfortunately, everyone else has had better luck. We've received reports of lesser beasts throughout Girabardia. Putting them down is as important as hunting the blasphemy that got away. To complicate matters, rumours have been circulating that these beasts were the Skull's kin. While this was true of the recent incident in Alagana, we cannot have people jumping to conclusions given what they might feel tempted to do. It's been suggested that we take these individuals into custody for their own protection as much as the safety of others, but that would only isolate them even further and give credence to the rumours. The recent unrest has hindered the efforts of the Silver Griffins to no end. Therefore, I ask that you aid them in their endeavours and see if there's aught that can be done. Also, you'll be joined by another volunteer. Try not to be too surprised. I thought I felt my ears burning. Hi, Fordola. I said I don't need a keeper, but did they bloody listen? Did they bollocks? Come on, don't be like that. This is what you agreed to. Besides, you never know when you might have need of a healer, and there's none better than Demajen. Well, he's right. You've earned a measure of trust, and this shouldn't be taken to mean otherwise. Thick as thieves are we now? There's no need for this sodding collar, eh? We all know it's not coming off any time soon, but if this is how it's to be, then fine, so long as she keeps out my way. I want the two of you to visit the Silver Griffin's headquarters in Alagana. Several relatives of the Craniolupi have agreed to meet with them. We could do with a measure of precaution. If anyone so much as mentions the skulls, I'll deal with it. Understood? Let's get this over with. She's as much a risk of turning as anyone, maybe even more so. You don't need the echo to see the weight she's carrying. She's still got no handle on her own echo either. Sometimes the visions come without warning and with such force that it's all she can do to stay standing. There's no telling what might happen when she comes face to face with the family of a former comrade, so look out for her, please. I wish there was more I could do for her myself. But we've all got our own duties, and I'll see them through to the end. So must we all. Follow Fodola's lead. We're counting on you both. But be ready to step in, even if she curses you for it. Which she will. Which she will. ... I had a feeling Raban would send you, Dema, but as for her... If you've got any complaints, take it up with the commander. That's not Fodola's voice. No, it's fine. Truth be told, ever since that day at the Royal Palace, I've been thinking. Stop! You don't want to say it, and I don't want to hear it. To the matter at hand, then. We Silver Griffins have been working to support the relatives of the Craniolupi, but one family has gone missing. A mother and her parents who lived together under the same roof. One of ours paid them a visit, but they were nowhere to be seen, and when they went inside to check, they found the house had been torn to shreds. Thick gouges in the floor and walls made by beast claws by the look of them. You think they've turned? Aye, that's the most likely explanation. Please, do what you must before anyone else is hurt. Here's no time to waste. I'll head west, you east. Well, that's not sticking together if you need healing, is it? Right. Hello, Naming Way. You don't look much like your cousins, has to be said. Oh, a fell beast. How do I play Scholar again? It's been a while. It's been a while because I've been playing Sage. Oh, it's so much easier to do Scholar. Sage, you seem to have to work a lot harder on for the same effect. I'll have to see what happens when I get Scholar up to the higher 80s. But you seem to have to press a lot more buttons for Sage. In the dirt, you spy an envelope containing a crumpled, tear-stained letter. Yes, I will read it. Oh! It's got little cards flying off it. Has it always had that? Did I just not notice because I normally cast it on someone else? Dear Mother, I hope this letter finds you well. Time is short, so I must keep this brief. Though I have never done anything to make you proud, I promise you things will be different when the war is over. Until then, take care and know that I love you with all my heart. Placing the letter back into its envelope, you turn your attention to finding the others. Time-worn wedding ring. You discover what appears to be a wedding ring with a name and date engraved on the inside. With seemingly no more clues to be found, you decide to report to Ragnfrid. So these were indeed the family. What's done is done. Were you able to find anything? Then it is as we feared. I found and killed a third. It was carrying this. Matching ring. I'll deliver these effects to the next of kin and arrange for a funeral, or as close to one as possible under the circumstances. There's no changing the past. We'll always carry it and the scars. But no matter who we were or what we did, we're Alamegans then and now. The Empire was our enemy then, and now it's despair. Good words and deeds will serve us best in this fight. Weapons even an old man like me can yet wield. Indeedy. Thanks to the two of you, the missing villagers may finally be laid to rest. I and the other Silver Griffins will redouble our efforts to prevent any further tragedies. I finished checking the wares, sir. Everything's in order. Good work. Take a rest, lad. You've more than earned it. Keep this to yourselves. But Everett's younger brother was a member of the Crania Lupe. He's exactly the sort of person we're trying to help. Like many of the others, he was reluctant to talk to us at first, but after we gained his trust, we were able to help him find work. And he's taken to it well. It's, the butcher. Oh, balls. Traitors, all of us. Kinslayers deserve and hating death. Hating death. Oh, great. Well done, Fordola. Get back. Get back. Well done, Fordola. Oh. Nuh-uh. Oof. Stay away from her. Fordola saved your girl's life. I know, but she's... I mean, she caused the problems there. It happened in an instant. A poor lad. But it had to be done. Without hesitation, it would have been much worse otherwise. Yeah, but if she hadn't been there, it wouldn't have happened at all. Could you go after Fordola and see to her wounds? I'll do what I can here. Oh, and yes, I suppose anything could have triggered him. But... I'd argue that was a failing on Ragnfrid's part. I want to say thank you to the brave lady for rescuing me. I think I'll see her again. She risked her life to save my daughter. Whatever else she may have done, I owe her for that. Yes, tricky. I'm fine. Leave me be. I said I don't need your help. I'm a healer. Let me do my job. God, you're like a dog with a bone. Go on then and make it quick. Healing. Curl can't change its spots, and there's no washing the blood off my hands. Nor would I, even if I could. Taking up Garlean steel was the first choice, but not the last. Like the first kill, the hardest. Every choice after that came easier and easier, until I stopped counting, stopped caring. You tell yourself it's right. It's for the greater good. Give the order, feel the ground tremble as the cannon fires, and when the dust settles and your own men are buried beneath the rubble, and you tell yourself... Uh-oh. Me too. I'm not going to do the screaming thing. You mustn't give in. That man in the village. I saw his past. I'm the one who killed his brother. I'll be alright. I just need a moment. Can you wait with me? Aww. You kind of feel sorry for her, and then you remember all the things she's done. Same with Emmett. Everything the Skulls fought for, the sacrifices we made, the things we did, in the end it was all for nothing. Sometimes I look back on the road I walked and the bitterness I can still taste, and I wonder, if I'd grown up in another time, another place, would I have done the same to a different people? Was it always in me to be me? All I know is, everyone would have been better off if I'd never been born. But I was, and I dragged others into a hell of my own making. I remember these two brothers in particular, childhood friends of mine. The older one enlisted with me, but the younger... He'd never have made it as a soldier. He was too kind, too... good. Hansford died at Specula Imperatoris, but his brother's still out there, somewhere. Not that I've got the courage to face him after what I did. I hope he's found the life he deserves. Not all of the craniolupi at the towers died that day, though. I know from one of my visions that at least one survived. Frudolf. Frudolf? The red-nosed... No. I'm glad he made it out, but too many others didn't. Too many others still need our help. Help make this blasphemy. By Ralgar, I'll kill the bastard if it's the last thing I do. Anyway, that's enough out of me. I'll be heading back to the city to make my report. I suggest you do likewise. Yes, it's interesting the parallels between Fordola and Emmett Selk. I mean, Emmett on a much larger scale, obviously. I think that's one of the reasons why they gave us the whole Elpis bits, because at that point, Emmett Selk is not a megalomaniacal murderer and a committer of genocide. A lot of people really like and really kind of empathise with Emmett, but because of that, it is quite easy to forget the atrocities that he committed. Welcome back. Fordola's already given her account, and I'd like to hear yours too. So, she almost turned into a beast herself. We'll have to take that into consideration before sending her into the field again. As far as the events in Allagan are concerned, the two of you did well. Despite the appearance of several beasts, you were able to prevent any further casualties. However, this serves to confirm that those with connections to the Craniolupi should be considered at risk of turning. Over the years, many of them have drifted away from the larger settlements and have taken to living in secrets. Others made their way to Uldar as refugees, including some individuals of interest. As such, we'll be working closely with the Immortal Flames to locate and offer support to those refugees in particular. In fact, I plan to make the journey there for an audience with the Sultana. As my preparations are complete, perhaps you might accompany me. I'm sure she'd be glad to see you. Why can I accept this? I'm not level 87. That's odd. Anyway, need the XP for Scholar, for Sage rather. So let's swap over to Sage. The quest to protect vulnerable Alamegans leads to Uldar. Here to see Commander Aldin, I take it. This way, please. Our request for an audience with the Sultana has been accepted. Before we depart, I'll share what we've learned since last we spoke, 30 seconds ago. The blasphemy continues to elude us, all the while driving others to succumb to despair and turn. Even with Alamegan and Uldan forces searching for signs of the beast and more potential victims, we've yet to discern a pattern in the chaos. Nevertheless, if our blasphemy is like the others, its behaviour is likely dictated by the passions and regrets of the man it once was. Therefore, any information concerning him and the life he led may help us to track it down before it strikes again. Nod. We don't want people to shun the families of the skulls any more than they already are, but the fact remains that the vast majority of the beasts have been born from them. They're the ones at greatest risk of turning, without question. Fordola concerns me too. She came close to transforming once before, so I think it might be best if we keep her out of this after all. I'm inclined to agree with Demajen. She was able to resist the transformation and has shown no signs of succumbing since then. If she wants to do her part, I say we'll let her. If only I could go in her stead. Actually, I was hoping you'd come with us to meet the Sultana. I believe she would benefit greatly from your understanding of the struggles our people face. You'd gain from the experience too. Well, she's not the sort to brandish a sword and charge into battle. You'll soon discover she's a champion of her own arena, as brave as any warrior. Look at the barn gushing over the Sultana. I doubt she'd have much to learn from the likes of me, but it would be an honour to make her acquaintance. Owenvold and I will go on ahead and wait for you in the hustings strip. We'll see you anon. To Northern. And pad up. Papashan. I only let her out of my sight for a moment. Uh-oh. It's the first time I've been back here since I discharged myself from the infirmary without telling anybody, mind. I must remember to stop by and offer my thanks and an apology. Master Papasham was just telling us that Nanamo, or should I say Lady Lyra, has gone on another of her jaunts about the city. Though it's not my place to question her Grace's judgment, I do wish she'd have consulted me before running off on her own. And perhaps I'm overthinking it, but it's unlike her to keep guests waiting. If I may say so, sir, with blasphemies appearing throughout the land, it's a dangerous time to be going for a stroll. I suspect that may be the very reason. She wishes to see for herself how the citizenry fare in these trying times. Even so, it's downright reckless. We'll find her, though. No, I couldn't possibly allow such esteemed guests to... Come now. We might be here on official business, but we're old friends, and as you may remember, I have a knack for tracking down errant sultanas. Some might say that knack is a rather charitable... I should be glad of the assistance. I'll take a look around here. Quizzing the locals will give me an opportunity to learn of recent goings-on in Uldar, too. Well then, there's no time like the present. Fear not, with me on the case, this'll be over before you know it. It's been some time since I last combed these streets for young Lyra. As a matter of fact, Papasham and I would compete to see which of us could find her first. As I recall, most of the contests ended in my favour. The trick, you see, is to look past the disguise and pay attention to the gestures and mannerisms, the tiniest movements that might give her away. Come, I'll show you how it's done. Follow the barn's lead and try not to fall behind. Okay. She's fond of perusing the stalls here. I have forgotten what the walk key is. I shall switch to the controller, where such things are easier. If she's not here, where could she be? What if she's been abducted? In one of these pots? Perhaps not. That was your first... With the snowmen. I've never known her to be this elusive. You've only checked 3 places, Raban. That's odd. I've tried all of her usual haunts, so unless she's hiding inside a barrel or something equally nonsensical, she must be elsewhere. Gods, why did she choose now of all times to run off? Or she's been abducted, or run afoul of a beast? No need to assume the worst. You're right, I know, but it's hard not to worry. Where could she be? Come to think of it, something Papasham said caught my ear. He thought Nanamo went on this excursion because of the emergence of the blasphemy and the beasts, to better understand how her people are coping with the situation. If so, she'd be driven to seek out the most desperate and destitute. Pearl Lane, then. May I ask you to lead the way? I'll admit my ability to track missing persons may have dulled somewhat. Pearl Lane has ever been plagued by pickpockets and the like. I'll watch your back, so go ahead and give the search for Larry your full attention. Right. Come then, Raban. Snow in Uldar. Ask about Pearl Lane. While it may not be immediately obvious, conditions here have improved considerably of late. Her Grace continues to support the rebuilding efforts in Garabania, which has led to the creation of jobs for many of the locals, both here and on the other side of Balsar's wall. No, wrong job. In every society there are the haves and the have-nots, and seldom is this divide more sorely felt than here in Uldar. Many of the young and able-bodied work for Lolorito as guards, though he earns more in an afternoon than most will in a lifetime. It's true, he is the Bezos of Eorzea. Ooh. There she is. Now, Lady Lua. Babard, what are you doing here? That is not Nanamo's voice. And Demajen too. While I am glad to see you both, our meeting is not yet due to commence for several bells. What is the meaning of this? We were worried, and with good reason. These are far too dangerous times to be roaming around, alone, Your Grace. Things never change, but I assure you I'm quite capable of looking after myself in my own city of all places. More importantly, I wish to observe firsthand how the people have been faring of late, that I might be better prepared to participate in our discussion later. But I have finished, you will be comforted to hear. Then pray allow us to escort you to more amenable surroundings. Would you care to ride on my shoulder? Certainly not. You've already attracted more than enough attention. Yeah, I mean, there are guards everywhere in Uldar. Oops, that is not the button I meant to press. Ah, dear. Also, Raban, your shoulder is big and spiky as at the moment, and I don't think that would be very comfortable sitting. Regardless of how brave you are. Oh, I should probably talk to Papashan. Never mind. Are you going to have the meeting here? Waddle, 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 waddle. I thank you all for making the journey here during these difficult times. And it is my pleasure to properly make your acquaintance. On behalf of the people of Eorzea, allow me to express my sincerest gratitude for your continued dedication to our cause. With respect, Your Grace, I'm just a soldier. Was a soldier. Still, I say, Commander Aldin would not make such distinction, and neither will I. Not make such a distinction, and neither will I. You yet serve your people, and have provided solace to many of Alamigo's most vulnerable. If we are to deal with this threat, we must forearm ourselves with knowledge. I understand you can bear information regarding the blasphemy and its victims. We have indeed. And now I will tell you it, in great detail, with a pan up and fade to black and pan back down. Hence the need to locate families of Crania Lupi members who have fled to Thanalan. There is no end to the struggles faced by Alamigan refugees, and those who once pledged allegiance to the Empire are no exception. But rest assured that irrespective of their past, all will be treated with an even hand. All will be afforded such aid as I am able to provide. Magnanimous as always, Your Grace. If I might be so bold, I have a question. What do you have in mind for those most at risk of undergoing the change? I believe there is but one recourse. Earnest and open dialogue. While some are born into unimaginable wealth, others suffer great hardship and oppression. The circumstances of our birth are beyond our control. Our fate subject to the whims of the gods, some would argue. I once thought myself a prisoner to my fate, a figurehead, helpless to watch on as my people starved, a powerless puppet. I wanted nothing more than to cast it all aside, to free us all, but failed for my naivety, and then was afforded a second chance for my privilege. The world is unfair, terribly so, but we have the power to push back against inequalities and injustices. if not overcome them on blessed occasions. To love our neighbour and share in life's bounties. To open our hearts and come together as one. Truer words were never spoken. But without the support of the people, such words are naught but vain platitudes. Thankfully, my recent attempts to make inroads with the militarists have met with some success. Despite differing views on many subjects, we yet strive to find common ground. Common ground. We've been pouring all our efforts into aiding families of the cranial lupi, and while it seemed to help to agree, some have still succumbed and turned. Of course, they're not the only ones in danger. Alamegans everywhere, whether they sided with the Empire, fought for the Resistance, or were caught in the middle. They all suffered. They all wake up in the night at times haunted by memories of death and despair. We know what can happen if those feelings are left to fester. The legacy of the Imperial occupation will not soon be forgotten. But, rather than seek to forget, mayhap it is necessary to remember, to acknowledge and accept the truth of it, that they may properly mourn those they have lost. Aye, a remembrance. I propose we hold a memorial ceremony for those who died during the war. Everyone, no matter who they were or what they did. Let them be loved, let them be hated, but above all let them be remembered, and in the remembering of the dead, in their honour and their sin, we the living of Alamigo may yet find a sliver of common ground. But surely some people are going to get massively upset at this. Ah, here we go. It's a noble sentiment, but bringing together people of reason to distrust one another and risk inflame intentions could be a recipe for disaster. Then again, we can't keep ignoring the married in the room and do nothing to address the situation. I like that. Not an elephant to married. As long as we leave it to the individuals to decide whether or not to attend the ceremony, I think it's worth a try. Organising an event on this scale will require a great deal of effort, so I offer my full support. Once you know what's needed, come to me and we'll put the plan into action. I'm starting to sound less northern and more just bunged up. Obviously some will balk at the idea, which is perfectly understandable, so I'll be listening to their opinions as well. After all, we want it to be a ceremony that brings Alamegans together. I was wondering, Your Grace, if I might ask about your approach to, well, talking to people, winning them over. As you can tell, I'm no politician, so I'd be grateful for any advice you can share with me. Why, I would be delighted to. As a matter of fact, I have a number of matters I wish to discuss with you. Oh? And on that note, I suggest you and I return to Alamigo. Just leave them to it. Right, back we go, if I can click on the darn title, to the Alamegan Quarter once more. You still, to the best of my knowledge, cannot get a glamour of the gear that the Sultan's Sworn wear. You can get the outfit, but you can't get the colours, which I think is a real shame, because I happen to really like it. I knew Arenvold would make a good impression, but he's outdone himself. Not only has he found a new avenue in life to explore, he's taken to it with considerable aplomb. And while his proposed memorial ceremony is bound to have its detractors, I have faith that many will come around. Not all, but enough, I pray. For our part, we must stand at the ready for whatever may occur. I shall send word if there are any developments. I should have tallied this up properly to hit 90. Yeah, we're close. There you are, Demajen. Commander Aldin has asked me to convey to you the following information. At present, we're looking into reports of missing relatives of the cranial lupi. With the cooperation of the Silver Griffins, we're currently searching for any clues as to their whereabouts. Thanks to the concerted efforts of Ragnfrid and the others, the general public has been willing to cooperate with our investigation, Though many still harbour feelings of distrust for the collaborators and their kin, they've grown more receptive to our cause on the whole. Anvol's been making steady progress in preparing for the memorial ceremony, which is going to be crashed by the big monster, I'm sure. He plans to host a meeting between the various community leaders to go over the finer details. In fact, he was wondering whether you could assist in delivering the invitations. If you can spare the time, you should be able to find him in the Mercantile District. Anyway, that's all for now. I have a few other matters to attend to, so if you'll excuse me, duty calls. Mercantile District, you say? I forget there actually are districts in this place. Aha! Here you are, my good man. Thanks for coming. It should come as no surprise that planning a memorial ceremony for Old Bloody Nation would keep a man busy, but by Ralga, this is something else. The hardest part's been gathering information on those who died in the war, especially when it comes to the skulls and other conscripts, and they're the ones we need to treat most carefully. If we don't acknowledge the crimes of our kin in all their painful truth, then we do a disservice to their victims, living and dead. But if we let people paint them as monsters who did monstrous things, things we believe we'd never do, then we perpetuate a different but no less dangerous lie. As for preparing the event itself, I'll be holding a meeting with members from each of the settlements around Girabania. I sent invitations to most of them already, but I was hoping you'd help me with the last two. There's Manoon in the Peering Stones, and Sirisha and Viranilia. I'll give you one for each. To be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if they refused, considering how their people suffered at the hands of the Skrulls, but I hope we can remind them that deep down we're all just people trying to survive to protect our loved ones. We may have driven the Empire from our lands, but as long as we hold fast to the grudges born of their attempts to divide and set us against one another, we'll never be free of their legacy of cruelty. With that in mind, I've included an account of my experience with the Silver Griffins, the people I've met. Victims, collaborators, their friends and their family, men and women who lived through it all. Survivors. Even if they refuse to join the ceremony, at least they'll know, and hopefully understand, our reasons for holding the event. Granted, I've not had much practice in writing important letters, but I think they'll get the message. You being the one to deliver them will make a world of difference, I'm sure. Take care, won't you? Greetings, friend. It has been too long since last we spoke. What brings you to my village? I have a letter. The weight of the words within is almost tangible, in addition to the weight of the paper itself. So, the rumours are true. I need not read this letter in full to know its contents. I understand that Dragonford's volunteers are working to support the families of those lost in the war, which few will deny is a worthy cause, but to include the relatives of the Crania Lupi. The Skrulls watched the Empire slay us in our thousands, and still they turned their cloaks and fought for our oppressors. And you would ask us to mourn the deaths of these curs alongside their victims? I ask only that you read the rest of the letter. To dismiss it out of hand would be discourteous. Very well. Family. As Noon, my tribe is my family, and I know all too well the responsibility that brings. I would do anything to protect them. Anything. Loyalty, pride, conscience, my very soul. All are meaningless if I cannot ensure the safety of those I love. I suspected some Skrulls had been faced with the self-same choice, but to see how their kin suffered, I cannot say I do not understand, though I wish that I did not. Their crimes will never be forgiven. They cannot be. But I, and any others who are willing, can offer our prayers for these tortured souls and the men they could have been. Who are you? I accept the invitation, not on behalf of the M tribe, but as Miraz Noon, though I put the question to my people that they may decide for themselves. I'm also eager to make the acquaintance of the person who wrote this letter. He is not wont to turn a blind eye to the bitter truth, painful though it is to confront. The meeting will be the perfect opportunity to take his measure. Arenvald is becoming a statesman. Kind of. Sort of. Savisha! Welcome. To what do we owe the pleasure of your visits? Then it is as I suspected. There have been rumours that such a ceremony would take place. But though you have travelled far to make this invitation, I must decline. We cannot mourn the loss of the fallen if the Craniolupi are to be counted among them. Like the Kalyana, they chose to aid the Guardian oppressors, killing and bleeding for those who would pillage our lands. Cowards and traitors all. And are we to assume that Kalyana, who died fighting for the Empire, will be honoured as well? If so, that is all the more reason for us to refuse. That is your right, and no one will say otherwise. I command you to present a letter and ask that you read it in full. If you insist. No one was spared suffering in the occupation. Not the resistance, not the collaborators, not the families of both. No one. That so many would die in shame and ignominy, having sold their souls only to lose everything, is a tragedy and a lesson. If they are forgotten, then the lesson of their folly is forgotten. For the sake of this land we call home, I will join you in the remembrance, and implore my people to do the same. In mourning, may we strengthen our ties with our neighbours as well. By together facing our past, we can build a foundation for lasting peace and prosperity. It would be my honour to attend the proposed meeting, and I look forward to personally thanking your friend Arenvald for his dedication. I and my peers have much to learn from the example he has set. Right. Success. Ooh. It's that weather time. Quick living. So, how did you fare in the fringes? They said that about me? It's rare for me to get such glowing praise, especially from renowned leaders like Sarisha and Raznoon. More importantly, though, they agreed to attend the meeting, and I've got you to thank for that. After all, I imagine it's hard to turn down an invitation when it's hand-delivered by the Warrior Light herself. That is the first time we've been referred to as the Warrior of Light in a while. A lot of the end of the MSQ specifically has dropped mention of it. In fact, everything post-Heidelin. Before I get ahead of myself, though, I must remember that this is only the beginning. Bringing everyone together is one thing. Coming to an agreement on an extremely divisive issue is a different kettle of fish entirely, as Her Grace was quick to point out. But, as she's taught me, if our cause is just and our arts are true, those of like mind will surely answer the call. And answer it they have. While there are bound to be differences of opinion, I'm sure there's nothing we can't overcome if we put our minds to it. To that end, I was hoping you could join us, if you've the time to spare. There are still a few loose ends. Ragnfrid and I need to tie up beforehand, so we'll meet you in the palace as soon as we can. Just having you there will make a world of difference. I suppose I could help. Here for the meeting, yes. I do love the special weathers and how they change things, lighting-wise. Ooh, that's quite a few people. So, while we all agree upon the importance of the ceremony, we recognise that the inclusion of the Craniolupi will be distressing for many. I too lost family at their hands, and I would never ask others to forgive and forget. But, for all their crimes, they were Alamegans just like us. None made the decision to side with Garlemald lightly. They had a choice, and they chose to betray us. Who among us have not made difficult choices for kith and kin? And do not forget that Fordola chose to stand between us and a primal. What does that have to do with it? Brothers and sisters, arguing will avail us naught. The fate of Alamigo rests on my shoulders and yours, and those of every man, woman and child that calls these lands home. To uphold our honour, to strive for prosperity, to protect our loved ones, we all know the weight of these responsibilities. It was that self-same weight which drove many of our people to serve our oppressors, misguided as it was. And though they chose a different, unconscionable path, in the end we all wanted the same thing: to deliver our families from persecution, that they might live to see one more day, because another day in shame and self-hatred is still better than none at all. The regretful dead are survived by their despair, a despair which threatens to drag us all into the abyss from where there's no escape. Know that it surely will, if we welcome it into our hearts out of disdain for those we cannot forgive. But we Alamegans will not be so easily defeated. We will stand, united, and conquer this menace. Every Alamegan who fought and died did so in hopes that one day we'd be free. And we are free. We are free. By the blood of our fallen brothers and sisters, we're free. Free to lock away the pain and pretend it has no power over us until it festers and takes us in our beds. And free to lay it bare and let it breathe. To acknowledge and to mourn our people at their best and their worst. Past is ours to bear, all of it, for ourselves and for future generations, so that they needn't suffer like we did. Let us make Alamigo a nation where no man's left behind, where you can make all the wrong choices and still be afforded the chance to make a right one. Yeah, the game's being a little bit more audio stuttery today than it has been in a while. That went better than any of us. Oh, that's the wrong voice. That went better than any of us could have hoped for. You have my gratitude for your part in the proceedings, but we both know who the real hero of the day was. This was all Aranvol's idea, and it was his words that finally won over the naysayers. Now that we have the community leaders on our side, we should have a much easier time convincing the rest of the citizenry. Of course, holding the ceremony is by no means our final objective. No matter what we say, some will refuse to attend. It is my hope, however, that it will still serve to provide a measure of closure for us all, and to ease the plight of the vulnerable and ostracised. Speaking of which, you recall the incident with Fordola and Alagana? The young girl she saved, and her mother wished to thank her personally. Considering what happened last time, though, I have reservations. It will be a valuable opportunity to present a former skull in a more positive light. On the other hand, I don't need to tell you how unpredictable she can be, and that's before taking her echo into consideration. But that's a conversation for another day. Go and get some rest, you've earned it. I feel like I have timed this just right. Trail of Skulls. Why did we get some food? Didn't we get food for the 89 quest for DPS as well? How odd. Something terrible's happened. It's Fordola. She's escaped. She was accompanying the squadron out on training exercise. One moment she was there, the next she was gone. I didn't think much of it at the time, but she's been acting strangely ever since she went to meet that mother and child. You know, the ones who wanted to thank her for saving the girl's life. When I told Commander Aldin about it, he went charging off to Alagana to ask them if they had any idea where Fordola could be. I thought about going after him, but when I heard you were heading this way, I reckoned it'd be easier to send you in my stead. Wow. Must be good. What was she thinking? I know you. You're friends with the brave lady, aren't you? Have we done something wrong? Nope. We just need some help. Northern help. Ah, Demajen. I wasn't expecting to see you here. You've heard what's happened then. Just as Fordola was beginning to earn our trust, she's given the slip. As you may know, she wears a choker that's designed to do exactly that if it's... That doesn't make any sense. Just as Fordola was beginning to earn our trust, she's given us the slip. As you may know, she wears a choker that is designed to do exactly that if its enchantment is triggered. No, that actually doesn't make any sense. She wears a choker that is designed to prevent exactly that. It's supposed to prevent her escaping. But that middle sentence doesn't actually make sense. If I were to give the order, she would be dead within moments, and she knows that. She took the risk anyway, so I have to believe she has a good reason. That's what we're looking into now. We're hoping Clavel and young Lily here could shed some light on the matter. We'd like to ask you about your conversation with Fordola, if we may. Yes, of course. I know she's the butcher, or was, at least. It didn't seem right to go without thanking her. That's why I requested the meeting, to express my gratitude and my apologies. She was quiet at first, just stood there as we spoke, as if she weren't even listening. And then I mentioned the blasphemy, and she looked at Lily and all of a sudden clutched her own head and cried out in agony. Huh. The echo. Can you remember what you were thinking about at the time? A man. The one I saw in the city. What? Who? Did he have something to do with all those people panicking? Oh. I think he did. When I was waiting for you, I saw him. He was by himself. This is the same guy, isn't it? In fact, are all of the people that were shown to us the blasphemies? I'll have to look back and check. He looked poorly, so I asked if he was all right, and he said yes. He had a nice smile. He got up and started walking, but then... he was shouting and screaming. I was so frightened I didn't want to talk about it, not even to Mum. Oh, I wish you'd said something sooner. I'm sorry, Papa, this is my fault for leaving you on your own. The man who turned into a blasphemy, I'd wager. The girl saw him, which means Fodola's now seen him too. There was one other thing. When Fordola was having a funny turn, she said something. Charlie? No, Charlie, I think. Yes, that was it. Ring any bells? Can't say it does, but if it has anything to do with the skulls, the Silver Griffin should have some information on him. We best have a word with Wagenfrid then. You've both been very helpful. I'd also like to thank you for being so kind to Fordola. She may not have said it, but I'm sure it meant a lot to her. I have a couple of more things I'd like to ask, so I'll catch up with you later. Oh? And what would that be? Charlie, you say? Yes, that name came up during our recent investigations. As I recall, he served under the Viceroy during the occupation, and his whereabouts is currently unknown. Had an older brother named Ansfrid, one of the Cranialupa. Ah, so this is the one that got out, or that didn't sign up. Which would give him a connection to Fordola. Is there anyone who can tell us more about him? Yes, an uncle who we recently helped find employment here in Algana. He's actually the one who asked us to look for Charlie. We'll most likely find him working at the Sleeping Stones. As it happens, I was planning to bring him something to eat. I'll join you there shortly. What a coinkydink! Yeah, what wasn't that what who Fordola was telling us about? Perhaps we should have asked what he looks like. Yeah. Yeah, still looking, eh? That's him over there. I've noticed they've sped up the walking animations a bit. I hope we're not interrupting. No, of course not. Good to see you, Ragnfrid. My word, the Bull of Alamiga and the Champion of the Alliance. What brings such esteemed guests to our humble, quarry? At ease, my good fellow. We merely wish to ask you about your nephew. Charlie, you found him? No luck yet, then. Is there anything else you can tell us? More about his childhood, perhaps? Wasn't much of one, I'm afraid. Poor boy's life was ruined long before he had any say in the matter. His parents and I swore allegiance to Garlemald to secure ourselves and our kin's citizenship. All the good it did us here, living amongst our countrymen who treated us as pariahs. Took its toll on him and his brother, to be spat on as traitors by association. One thing led to another, and Ansfrid, together with most of his friends, joined the Imperial Army. That's how it started, you know, Cranialupi, guys as loyal little pups. Do you remember the names of these friends? Yeah, they had quite the reputation growing up. There was Emmeline, Rudolph. We've seen Rudolph. And the angry little girl who grew up to become the butcher herself, Fordola. Why do we look surprised? We've heard the story. Charlo was part of their group too, yes. From what we've heard, he chose not to become a soldier. Wouldn't have lasted a day in training. He knew that better than anyone, of course. Not that it helped him to feel any less guilty for turning his back on the others. He blamed himself for their deaths, for not stopping them when he had the chance, for not being strong enough to fight by their side. Maybe save them, maybe not. But he wasn't there and he wished he had been. Then one day he was gone. Wherever he is, I hope he's safe and well. He is not. So do we. Thank you. The information you shared should prove useful. And for you, I've brought some food. Why don't you call it a day and go and enjoy it with your family? Let him have the peace for now. Back to Alagana. Yes, not much peace available there, I fear. So, not only was his brother a member of the Skulls, but Charlie himself was a childhood friend of Fordola's. I'm told he refused the support of the Silver Griffins as well. He's been trying to make his own way for some time now. His brother and his friends died at Specula and Potoris, save for Fordola. The gods only know how he felt about her after that. Or how Fordola felt about Charlie after seeing Lily's memory of him transformed into a blasphemy. Brother of a man she killed and a childhood friend besides. She thinks she's responsible for this. That's why she ran, to kill the beast. I never thought I'd say this, but I'm worried about her. Fidola is a survivor and an outcast herself. Exactly the sort of person the Silver Griffins are trying to support. You've seen for yourself the sacrifices she's willing to make, and if you can learn to feel sympathy for her, maybe others can too. I think we have enough information for the time being. Let's return to the city and plan our next move. I say. I'm not sold on the trousers of the Sage set. I like pretty much everything else about it, but the trousers I don't like. What does the headpiece look like? I haven't even... Oh, yes, the headpiece doesn't fit properly. Right, Raban. I've assigned a few of my soldiers to assist the Silver Griffins in investigating Charlie's background. With luck, we'll find him quickly, and then we can prepare for what must come after. We're all but certain Charlie's the one who transformed into a blasphemy, so there's naught to be done but put him out of his misery. As for Fidola, I put Minago and her troops in charge of tracking her. Once they've found her, they'll have my permission to lend whatever support they deem necessary. If it comes to it, I may ask you to join the search. Till such time, I ask that you take this opportunity to rest. And hit level 90. Do no harm. Woohoo! Numa learned. The gift of mercy. Thank goodness you're here. Commander Alden needs to see you right away. Follow me. She is very easily flustered, isn't she? Probably not the best for a messenger. Everybody's all shiny. Keep it contained until I arrive, but do not engage if you can help it. Understood? That was Minago. A unit has found Fidola, or rather she has found them. In fact, I have Fidola on the search party's link pile. She wants a word with you. Group call. Microsoft Teams meeting. This is urgent, so be quiet and listen. The blasphemy, my friend, is right in front of us. I tracked him down, and when he spotted me, he started heading towards Speculum Imperatoris. Look, Demajen, I need your help. Charlie's not... He never wanted to hurt anyone, but this thing has become his... I can't leave him like this. I've got to stop him, whatever it takes. I'm on my way. I owe you. Why are we smiling? She can't see us. This is Minago. Can you hear me? We've got the blasphemy threat. It's on the move. Get ahead of it, but maintain distance. We need to... Fidola, what are you doing? Fidola! Fidola! There's no time to waste. They need our help. Nod. Do. Okay. It's time for a solo duty. Mediata and Algeria are not that far from Speculum Imperatoris. If we let the blasphemy slip through our fingers, it doesn't bear thinking about. Those are two of the settlements, aren't they? And while Fidola's determined to slay it by her own hand, we can't allow her recklessness to put the lives of others in jeopardy. The time has come for action. Are you ready? Yarp. Actually, I think I've got some accessories that I could put on. You're cool looking. Oh, the face, though. Hold the line for as long as you can. Commander Aldin and the Warrior Light will be here any moment. Stay strong. Speak the devil. Raban just kick it in the nuts. You've done well. Leave the rest to us. Yes, sir. Get the injured to safety. It's got such a weird face. Coward. Coward. Traitor to them. To everyone. It's got... His face is like taped on. Uh-oh. Echo time! I wish there was another way. So do I. But fighting's the only thing I'm any good at. Makes me wonder how I ended up with such a clever brother. Too clever for my own good, Pat, maybe. Just the thought of going into battle, about getting hurt, about having to hurt other people. He's such a bleeding arter, Charlie. Sooner befriend a fly than shoot away, much less kill it. I could kill if I wanted. I could. I like Fedola's outfit. But you don't. There's no shame in that. Leave the soldiering to us, Charlie. We'll show the Garleans what we're capable of. Get the power and respect we deserve, and then things will change. They will. You'll see. We found a place for ourselves, and you'll find yours soon enough. Alright, that'll do. Everyone who's enlisting, meet back here tomorrow. And everybody does except him. In the end, what good did I do? They gave everything they had to give, while I hid, like a rat, waiting for the storm to pass. Coward. 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 Ooh-ah. Ooh-ah. Okay. Better dead. Better forgotten. It's not your fault, Charlie. It's not. You didn't do anything wrong, and I'm the coward, the traitor, the butcher. I'll always be the butcher. Don't you dare, Fedola. You don't get to end it. You don't get to give up. I won't let you. You have a lifetime to make amends and atone, to become something more than you were. But if you die here, you are everything they say, everything you believe. Is that what you want? She's not going anywhere. Oh, hello, Arnold. Why are you here? There's nowhere else I'd rather be. I can't fight by your side, but I can still cheer you on. I've seen your past, Charlie. How you were left behind while your friends rushed into battle. It's bloody hard, isn't it? Wanting to do something so desperately with every fibre of your being, knowing that you should be able to. You should, but you can't. So you find another way to support them. Your way. You did that too, didn't you? You were there for them, even if it didn't feel like it. But you were, Charlie. You were. As a friend of mine once said, not all heroes are forged in the fires of battle. The history of Alamigo is written in blood. But we cannot change the past. We can change the future. And for that, we must all play our part. All of us. Ansfrid, Emmeline, One day we'll be together again. But not yet. You never hurt anyone, Charlie. That's not who you are. You'll be remembered as the kind soul you always were. Blasphemy. Charlie! I'm counting on you. Who, me? Oh dear. That's probably not a good idea. Sage time! How do I play again? Do. Right. Okay, I can at least put Cardian on people.
As one!
As one! Oh, the Barn's going to tank, is he? Oh! Throes of Remorse. Oh, what was that? Keep away from the lightning aspected ether. Don't need to tell me twice. Fordola actually used shield lob. Oh, that's Did they both use knockback prevention there? I think they did. I really dislike that they don't put you in the the party list. The lightning is sapping Fordola's strength. Yeah, so if they showed up in your party list, that'll be a lot easier. But Bart, will you stop taking so much damage, please? Oh, tower as it is. Fordola, you were literally stood in one. Let's have some regen. Cloud Call. Ooh. Oh, that's interesting. I don't think I've seen that mechanic before.
Show them what we're made of!
You can have that. You can have that. Oh, that was the electrocution thing, wasn't it? Levin Sphere Evocation. Ah, that's this one. Oh. No. Ooh. I probably should have got hit by that, if I'm honest. Oh, we've got regen on us. Woeful Fulgurance. I'm sorry, Fordola. It's interesting that he's retained so much of her, that he's retained memories of her. That oh? That's a new effect. I mean, it's a combination of Paladin Wings and something warrior-y. Oh, shit. I just realised how little
Try this.
Why does ours not do that much damage? I almost died then and hadn't realised. And also, I was so busy panicking that I actually didn't see what Numa looked like. Oh? Oh, because she's got the echo, so she sometimes gets, or had the opportunity to get little glimpses like this. Oh, this music. Must look up the name of this track. Thank you. I mean it. That's a nice moment. Built on tragedy, because, you know, Endwalker. But a nice moment nonetheless. I like the fact Aldin's put his sword on his other hip for the cutscenes, because it was clipping through his cloak quite badly in the battle. Ah! I've been looking everywhere for you. Have you now? I really like how these role quests, so far at least, you know, in the two that I've done, have brought in things from past expansions or past storylines and kind of meshed them into something that we're going to care about. We put down the last remaining beast spawned by the blasphemy. It is a pity we could do naught for those who turned, but that we're able to prevent further casualties is nothing short of a miracle. It's astonishing too, looking back at Charlie's case. Although his existence spurred others to transform, he never attacked any settlements or travellers. Even when he underwent the change in the middle of a crowded street, those who were present escaped with minor injuries at worst. I think that, deep down, his compassion is what kept the raging blasphemy at bay. The only time he emerged from hiding was to journey to the place where his brother died. Aye, it's clear he still retains some semblance of his former self. Another victim of the Empire's terrible legacy, along with his friends and so many others. But the Cranial Lupo wasn't the creation of the Imperials alone. Many of those used sought a place with them because they were denied one with us. That's why the memorial ceremony is so important. It's our chance to face our past together, to give them in death what we couldn't in life. To not deny anyone a place in memory, even if it hurts or makes us feel ashamed. You'll be attending, won't you? I haven't been ordered to, so I suppose not. In light of your leal service to Alamiga, I intend to have the conditions by which you're bound eased. Provided I'm able to obtain approval, you'll be granted a degree of freedom. At the very least, we should soon have no need for that choker. There's no objections from me. You've done well. Huh. Yeah, if I didn't know better, I'd think you were smiling. Well, I for one couldn't be happier her efforts are being recognised. It gives me that much more motivation to continue my work with the Silver Griffins and bring the people of Alamigo closer together. Gotta do my best to keep up with a certain little lordling, aye? I think we've done enough for one day. Time we got some rest. Are we going to get to see the ceremony? Allow me, as both the Guardian of Alamigo and as your sworn comrade, to express my thanks for coming to our aid in these desperate times. No matter what manner of disaster may befall us, your presence alone is enough to keep the flame of hope burning bright. Aye, even someone on the very precipice of despair such as Fredola can find salvation in your guiding light. Heavens forbid people would stop throwing themselves in harm's way at every opportunity. You're something of an immortal flame yourself. Ha! Been waiting for a chance to use that one, haven't you? I like to think I can still pull my weight on and off the battlefield, but that might be a bit generous. In any case, it's safe to say we've all benefited enormously from your sterling work here. Couldn't ask for a better healer, or a better friend. God. Our ambassador in Raz Han will be relieved to learn of our success here. If you happen to cross paths, give him my regards, would you? Well, I guess we're not going to see the ceremony. Bit of a shame. That I was quite looking forward to, but I guess that's quite a big set piece. So, that was the healer role quest. Nice to see these characters back. It's always fun to spend time with Hoban. Fredola is also a very interesting character because of how morally grey she is, one might argue. Although, I suppose skirting closer to morally black, depending on who you talk to. But yeah, I like that set of characters. Arenvold is always entertaining, and actually Arenvold and Fredola play off each other very nicely. Greetings. How goes it in Alamigo? I can't remember what voice I gave him. Eliminating blasphemies, helping organise a memorial ceremony. Oh, certainly kept you busy. Naming way can sit on the chair. A fine example of going above and beyond the call of duty. I'll be sure to send words of your exploits to Uldar. Wait till the Sultana hears about this. She was involved. Her Grace will not be the only one to welcome this news. On behalf of the Grand Company of Eorzu and our allies, allow me to express my most heartfelt gratitude. By giving me some random materia. You can now die? Yes, you can now die job-specific gear for level 90 healers. More than guilt. Still haven't done the tank ones. I've gone straight in with Reaper and Sage. 1, 2, 3 level 90s now. What does this stuff look like when died? Ooh. Interesting. So if you die at... That's odd. So if you die at Snow White, it turns the blue black. Huh. That looks quite nice. That doesn't. I really like the bright green metallic. I've not used it on anything. That looks quite nice as well. The silver. As does that, actually. Huh. Yeah, so this dies fairly well. Trying to find a colour that goes with my hair is always entertaining. It's usually Dalamud red, but it's actually a little bit bright on that. Wine red works nicely. That, on the other hand, is a little bit too bright for my liking. That works quite nicely as well. There's a lot of colours that I just never use. Yeah. Cool. Dies quite nicely. The Reaper stuff really doesn't. Roll quests for healers. An entertaining little romp. Some very heartfelt moments. I'm impressed. I've been impressed with both of the sets of role quests that I've done so far. And now that I've got written down how much XP that they give, 2,475,000 XP total for the role quests. So if you want to do them at level 89, you can save yourself almost 2.5 million XP worth of bar to do. Keeping in mind that I didn't have any rested XP or anything really. Enjoyed that. Sad, but entertaining. Fun in a tragic way. I think that sums up actually the storylines of ENDWALKER. Fun, but in a tragic way. Until next time, folks, this has been Demajen reacting to and experiencing. I don't know whether I can count this as a reaction video because there's no camera on. But experiencing and offering thoughts on the healer role quest. So if you have enjoyed the video, do please leave it a like down below. Which has been your favourite set of role quests so far? Until next time, happy endwalking. Cheerio! Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, why not click the like button and consider subscribing. Remember, you can ring the bell notification icon to get notified when new videos go live. And until next time, cheerio!